and you can click it. Yep. And then that goes straight to you. Yeah, and you can put that on your channel or do whatever you want with it there.
I'll plug it everywhere. Everybody wants a little of that sassy boy. Hi, Erik. I love you if you're around.
He said something funny to me. He kept saying to me, I'm like, 314, 314. What are you talking about all morning? What's 314?
Well, what is it, Erik? Oh, maybe he's going to leave an EVP. He leaves some good ones at 3.
He said he talked to you at 314, and he wanted to tell you that he talked to you at 314. So whatever you have currently, go back to your timestamp or time of day or whatever that you recorded something at 314.
All right, I will. Wow.
Yeah. So he said 314. There I am, Mom.
Okay, you got my research cut out for me. Sounds good.
Yeah, he says he likes those, the EVPs.
Oh gosh, he's so good at them, man. All right, we got one. After crossing over, hi everybody, by the way. This is Mama Medhus, Erik's mom. Anyway, after crossing over, what led Erik to be a spiritual guide? I'll let you, Erik, answer it, but I kind of know that.
Oh, you mean I got a choice? He said he feels a little bit like you do, that sometimes, no matter how hard it is, that you still feel pulled to help. He said, humans, we still feel pulled to do it, don't we?
I know. Some of us are slow learners, you know.
He said, no, seriously though, it's just something that if you guys keep calling me, if you guys keep asking, you know, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, it says here answer live or type answer. So do I click on answer live?
You can. Like what that is just basically it shows that we answered it. That way it clears it up for you as a facilitator.
Okay, good. Well, I have learned from previous channelings that Erik had a spiritual contract to, you know, have a very difficult life with mental illness and alienation and bullying, etc., so that he could develop the skills he needed to be a better spirit guide, like more compassion, listening skills, etc. And he did. He was super compassionate, and he was supposed to take his life a little bit later, like in his late 20s, but it was just too difficult for him. He had to have out.
He wants me to share with you some of the things he's been teaching to me.
Okay.
I have teenagers. And he has helped me understand.
You look like a teenager yourself. God.
Okay. I'm not. So I have teenagers, and I, struggle. And it feels like being a first-time mom, even though I'm a mom of 4. I have 2 that are younger than them. But I have teenage boys. I have teenage boys that are incredibly different, and I can't seem to figure out their ways. And they do things like shut themselves in their room all day. They do things like being addicted to gaming. They do things like not wanting to go to school. They do teenage boy things, right? So this is how I met him.
Oh.
I met him because one of my kids, when we lost their dad, which was only last year, he told me in advance that it was going to happen.
Oh God, that's awful.
But he told me in this really unique way by just basically coming in and taking over a class that I had out at Camp Love. And I'm like, now we have Erik. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen him on YouTube a little bit before, but I don't know much. And here's what he said. And somebody happened to be recording, and I'm like, I gotta send that to his mom one day. And that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
And since then, he just kind of took over in my life in terms of helping me connect to my kids better.
Oh, good.
Which is my primary role on this planet, is to be a mom. Like, no matter what else I'm doing, being a mom is primary to me. Like, I will turn away any paid gig, any money. And I know you know what I'm talking about. It's not about the money. It's about helping parents connect with kids, and he helps me.
Oh,
And this is how he has guided me, is he's helped me understand the male brain in terms of teenager and hormones and gaming, especially. Like, he's like, I loved my games and I love these games too. And he taught me a lot about how to help them with that. So that's what he does for me.
well, somebody says, let's see, Annie Rios. To
Mhm.
all panelists, I love the prayer shawl behind you. And that is pretty.
Mhm.
Prayer
Yeah,
shawl.
it's encoded with special intentions and blessings from
Good.
a student of mine who's incredibly powerful at it.
So how did he help you with your boys? I mean, that's a
Um,
tall order.
well, because they kind of do this thing where they just shut themselves out, and then I go to work all day, and then I come home and I'm trying to connect and I'm trying to understand like why they only want to like do gaming and not talk to me. I want to like get them off the computer. I want to understand how they think. And when he first started helping me with that, he was like, you can't just come downstairs and, you know, trample down there and be like, hey, it's dinner time, and hey, it's time to come up and emotionally connect. He said, you got to catch their attention in a different way. He said, have you ever thought about what it means to want to be in a different world? To want to be in a completely different world than what you're in, how boring it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, I was so bored sometimes with like the way that, life wanted me to be, the way that school wanted me to be, the way that parents wanted me to be. And he's like, and I had great parents, but still it was like they had to be creative about getting my attention.
Yeah.
So he taught me different ways to connect to them by understanding how they think and what they might be thinking, and, just how to connect better.
Well, was this the case before they lost their father?
He started helping me then, but especially after, because they struggled with a lot of depression and they didn't quite know how to talk about what they were feeling in that loss. And it made them even more kind of reclusive. And one of them was struggling with a unique issue at school at that time. And he started helping me to do with like peer pressure and a bully that he had that he was working on trying to kind of get away from. And he was like, well, this is what he might be feeling. And, he's a different kid. He doesn't fit into those systems, is what he said.
Right.
He's like, I didn't feel like I fit into any of her systems with education or what people believe or how they dress or how they're expected to dress, or just, he said, these systems are just incredibly, it's not what I was looking for.
So
He
what
said,
advice did he give you about that?
he told me, because I had one kid in particular who still struggles with this, and he's 17 now, and I had to take him out of public school and literally put him in a virtual school. And he had all these different skill set that he was working on, that he was teaching himself, that I didn't know anything about, And he's like, well, maybe he's learning gaming because he wants to understand social constructs, but he wants to do it in a different way. Maybe he's addicted to that because the way the world gets up, and they're like, educate yourself and then get a job and then get married and then have kids and then do this and do this. Maybe it's just not his thing. So you have to learn what his thing is, what really makes him passionate. Because if you can figure out what makes him passionate, you can get him out from that computer. And then you just do it by connecting to him and giving him different distracting tools to keep him in his passion. You've got to find his focus with his passion,
Right.
Make him laugh. You got to keep humor at the forefront of things. And whatever you do, don't tell him what to do.
Oh, no. Oh,
It's like, just don't tell him. Don't try to tell him what you think you might be feeling if you were in his scenario. This isn't about empathy. You can't get a kid in that scenario to empathize with anything unless you really understand him. So how are you going to understand someone that doesn't want to connect with society's constructs? You've got to help him create and define his own way of learning, his own way of feeling.
Did anybody ask him yet what his passion is?
He said, you know what, and he gave this very specifically at that time. He said, your kid likes water and he likes being on a boat. He likes connecting to nature, but you've got to do it very creatively. Get him on a boat.
Oh, okay.
And he said, if it's hunting, why does he like that? If it's boating, why does he like that? It's not exercise, but you want him to exercise, so why should he like it? He said, if it was sporting, why does he like it? So there were all these different things. He said, I was really, really passionate about helping people, but not in the way I am now, in a way of humor and distracting themselves from their own ridiculousness.
Yeah, really.
So he said, my passion was kind of calling people out on their stuff.
Yes.
And I did it in a very unique way that got them to laugh about themselves and not take themselves so seriously. And I loved when I could get people to drop their guard. That was my passion. That was my thing. And there were things that I like to do with my dad as well. But my dad had to be very creative about getting me into those things by connecting me to my humor, my passion, my strength. And if he didn't do that, then I'd say, oh, I'm busy.
I know. All right, let's answer some questions. Does Erik have a message for me about my familiar who has been missing since Saturday morning? Deborah.
He said, those are unique creatures. So why aren't you thinking like them? The way that I connect with animals is to try to think like them, to try to think about, they don't want to necessarily be missing or considered missing, but put yourself in that position. Where would that particular animal go? It has to do with where you were going, you were in that scenario. An animal's contract is only piggybacking off of yours. It's trying to tell you what you're feeling that you're ignoring. And in this particular instance, it's the belly and it's feelings of hunger, and not necessarily because you're not feeding that one. That one definitely gets fed, probably more than it should. So what are you doing about your hunger for life? And what are you doing when you are feeling a hunger for things in life? Where do you go and where do you not go? So think about that and pay attention to your desire to want to connect to other people when you shut that down. Maybe that's your hunger. Maybe that's your food.
Interesting. So can we find the familiar at a local Whataburger or something?
No.
Waiting for handout?
Mostly it's going to go to the person that's going to feed it the most. So look to the right of where you're standing if you're looking at the street, and go to the person that feeds every other animal on your block.
Okay, good. Well, why would that person keep this animal?
Oh, it wouldn't keep it, he said.
Oh, okay. All right, interesting. Oh, Deborah, let us know what happens.
Yeah, the cat just wants the food. It doesn't want the companionship. It just wants the food. But he said, think deeper. Think about how you don't feed yourself in something in your life. This is not about the belly. It's about the empowerment that you're ignoring when you want to be fed.
Is it lost?
He said she thinks it got missing and ran away, but it's not. It's not. This is a purposeful straying.
All right, stray with purpose. All right, let's see. We've got one from Jeffrey Gunnell. Erik, what was it like for you to channel Jesus, to bring him in, basically? That's a good question, yeah.
Well, when I first saw him, he said I expected something different than what I got. Like I wanted, or expected at least, white robes, all Jesus-y. He showed up in blue jeans and a t-shirt and barefooted.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I guess, and awesome. And I was a little bit just trying to feel it out, like, how does Jesus want us to feel more down to earth, less taking ourselves?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember he said, hey, Jesus, show everybody how cool you are. And whoosh, I don't know what he was originally wearing, but then the t-shirt and jeans, the white t-shirt and jeans. And I guess that did surprise you, huh? What did you expect, Erik?
He said, I had no expectations, and I learned that right away, that I knew even before I left that body that it wasn't going to be like everyone thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, I just never had that perspective that Jesus was like what anybody thought.
All right.
So,
Hey, so I see I have a chat line and a Q&A line that's separate. So, hey to David. Got somebody saying, yay. Hello, everyone. Hello, happy to be here. Thank you both. Hello, Pamela and Lisa. Nice to see you both this morning from New Zealand, 8 a.m. Everybody saying hi. Hello, lovelies. Love the prayer shawl. Thank you, Erik, for this lovely work you do in the service of other teens with depression. And here's hi, Erik. My twin flame died 35 years ago. Wow. You met him, Fabio, last time I channeled him. What do you suggest how I can channel and speak to him myself? And how do I ground myself? How do I hear him? You guys, if you can put questions in the question Q&A, that I don't want to miss it in the chat thread, because you know how I am. So, but yeah, what about that, Erik and Pamela?
He said, that being will talk to you in the ways that you are most comfortable with. So don't look for, when you lose your loved ones, don't look for ways that you think they're going to come. Think about how they're going to get your attention in ways that are productive to you. So for example, you and he like music. That's always been the case. So, you know he's going to contact you when he's playing your songs and you're playing his songs, and when you hear them, and this is how it works. I get attention in ways that the other person would understand, not in ways that I understand. So don't think about me when you want to connect to me. Don't think about him when you want to connect to him in his way. How would he get your attention? Put yourself in his shoes. How would he get your attention? He does it through music. He does it through that dog next door. He does it through various ways. So when you're trying to speak to him, think about how you would talk to him when he was here, and do that. Invoke that emotion. Think about that emotion. Feel that emotion.
Okay. All right. Here's an anonymous person. We know who you are. Speaking of this, my boyfriend is almost 40 and is like a teenager. Struggles with depression and stays distracted in his head. He had a passion, but often feels he isn't good enough and gives up. Does Erik have any advice or insight for me to help him aside from holding space?
Okay. He said, so okay, let's play a little game.
Whee! Like games.
He likes games, he says. So he said, I want you to pretend that you're him. Because in the universe, essentially you are. So if you're him and you're feeling this way, do you want somebody all up in your business saying, please don't be depressed. Please get out of your head. Please make sure you get that passion done. Please make sure you da-da-da. He said, so you've got to think like him. What is going to capture his attention? Again, if you're him and he's you, and let's play this little game, it's not necessarily about, he doesn't want space held. He wants connection in a way that he can understand. So when you're holding space in the way that you do it, that's one thing, but there's a way that he likes to distract himself from his pain. And that's the only way you're going to get him back into it. So think about your intention. What are you really looking for him to do? And what is your benefit behind that intention? What are you getting out of that? So be honest with yourself. If you want him to connect with his depression, why? What's in it for you? And why aren't you telling him what's in it for you? He needs a good reason why, because that feels terrible. Why should he connect to something that feels bad unless he has some darn good reason?
Well, why should he? Why is he specifically? Does he have a negative entity attachment? Or, sometimes they're starseeds and feel like they don't belong. Sometimes they're sort of strayed off their spiritual mission and feel a little lost. Can you give us any hints, or is that, a no-no?
Why doesn't he feel good enough? You got to think about why you don't feel good enough, or when you've been in that position in your life when you didn't feel good enough and when you want to give up. Because if you want him to connect to you, you need to show him some sort of connection first.
Okay.
It's not just, because this would feel good, or, it's an entity, or, it's not an entity. Of course, there are different takes on entities, and everybody's got a different idea of what an entity is even. So why should we think about something separate when focusing on what's right in front of you? And what's right in front of you is, okay, this person is being convinced in his own mind that he doesn't want to be here and that he's not good enough. So it's not about you trying to make that better, you trying to give him a reason that he's good enough. He's obviously not going to listen to that. So you've got to formulate a connection. You've got to find a connection about why he feels that way. Why would you not feel good enough? Have you ever felt a time like that? This isn't about entities, it's about what he's hiding from in himself.
Okay, so what is the specific next step for her?
The specific next step is to, he does like, his is my singing bowl thing that I use. I do a lot of singing. He grasped this and he said, you gotta let that go. And he moves my hand. He's like, you've got an agenda and you've got him like this. You may as well have it around his balls. So
Eric.
he said, so your agenda is this, and you're squeezing his masculinity every time you want him to be something other than what he is. So be honest with yourself about what's in it for you. What is your agenda behind you wanting him to feel better? Are you strictly uncomfortable because he feels like hell?
Yeah.
You know, get better about accepting what he feels. He's not going to listen to you unless you accept how he feels right now.
Okay.
That's the next step. Tell him you get it. Show him you get it.
I have one from Wiremu Preston. I'm probably botching that, but sorry. Patience is my big lesson here and now. Erik is there a favorite mantra or song or breath work you loved doing to calm your thoughts before you explode with anger or other low frequency emotions? So anything that could help him or her? Oh God. Oh boy.
He liked music. He said, and it wasn't the type of music that Pamela listens to at all.
Probably.
He said, you know, this is the type of music that mom would kind of maybe come downstairs and be like, yeah, what's that? So he said, you know, so I'm not going to talk about what music I listen to calm down, because I wasn't trying to calm down. I was trying to feel what I felt. So I wanted to feel what I felt, and music did that for me, and it wasn't mantras. He said, and my point is, why are all of you so afraid of yourselves? Why are you afraid of going into the emotions? So what if it's rage? I had a lot of struggles with that. I just wanted to burst out, and music for me made me feel appropriately ready to burst out, or sometimes inappropriately ready to burst out. But either way, it happened. And I just wanted to express myself and to feel heard. And it doesn't matter about that, trying to get myself to not feel and trying to sing a mantra or breathe or do something to make myself not feel angry. Sometimes I just wanted to give myself permission to feel angry. So what music's going to help you do that if you're talking about mantras and music? Why are you not letting yourself express?
Now, when Erik said he wanted to have permission to express his emotion, was he also including to himself, for himself, or just with others?
He said, you know, that was hard in my world, you know, to really give myself to permission, because it's not accepted. Anger is not accepted, you know, not necessarily by my parents, but I'm talking about school and other things. That's not always accepted in my society.
Yeah,
So, and they don't accept, you know, that type of music and that type of expression. But now I understand the importance of accepting every emotion that you feel and expressing it in whatever way you can that isn't harmful. So I just wanted to scream the music.
Well, let's ask Wiremu. Maybe you can phonetically type out how to pronounce your name, so I don't keep botching it. What is the emotion that, you know, that you want to like feel, sit in and feel appropriately and immerse yourself in until the charge is gone.
Mhm. Yeah. So he said, so what if it's rage? So what if
He says, he or she. Are you a girl or a guy?
he, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you means. Oh, thank you, a dude. All right. Um, is it rage? Is it anger that you have a lack of patience with for yourself? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Oh God, no. Okay. Stop. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Go ahead.
Um, he said, so if it's that, what are you so ashamed of? I mean, you don't like feeling that way, but have you convinced yourself that it's gonna freaking be that way forever? That's what the mind tries to convince you, is that you're going to feel bad and it's going to feel bad forever. And I remember being stuck in that feeling and not knowing how to express it to people. I was scared that if I yelled, I would hurt someone or anger them or be out of line. But there are times when I did it anyway. So there are times when it's not about withholding what you feel, but allowing yourself the permission to express it in whatever way is safe for you and others, and just being in that.
That's good.
And it hurts for that moment, but is your brain convincing you that that pain is going to be there forever? Because the brain lies. It lied to me a lot as well.
It did. Anything else for Wiremu?
He said, no, it dissipates. He said, see, there you have it. And he did his hand like that.
There we go. Okay, let me see. Have one from Lisa Shafter. She has a rephrase. She starts out, I love you all, Pamela, Erik, and Elisa. Thank you. We love you too. As a spirit, are you able to be in one place at one time? If so, how many places can you be at one time? Then she rephrases, as a spirit, can you be in multiple places at a time? And how many places are you able to be or experience at a time? I know the answer to this, it's infinite, and he can project his consciousness into,
Simultaneously.
places. That's why he can help so many people. And it's not like that's special for him. Spirits as a whole can do that. And if you read his book, My Life After Death, he talks about how he learned to do that and how there was some guy that had a spirit that helped train him to do that. But go ahead, Erik, take over.
He said, yes, and it's this thing with time. The more you believe in it, the more limited you become.
That's
so I realized that it wasn't really real. So if my thought process expands beyond time, then of course, I'm saying, okay, nothing to do with time. I'm not saying be with this person at this time at the same as this time. I'm just not able to really see myself in time. I just am not able to see in that way right now. Everything's now. Nothing's past, nothing's future, everything's now.
That's so weird. I can't imagine what that feels like. Because, our linear time, it's our human construct. We have to have it to get up in the morning, have breakfast, and go to work, and have a cause and effect, an action and a consequence. So, wow. But infinite, right? I mean, you can be in infinite places at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means you can be in my lap anytime I want you to, right?
He said, I have been.
I know. All right, good. Let's go on to Annie Rios. Who is your favorite being to bring forward when you bring them to channel through someone, and why?
He said, I have to have a favorite? Darn. He said, well, I guess if I play creatively, I would just appreciate it if people listen more to themselves. If I could bring you forward, each and every one of you, why do I have to have just one?
Wow, mic drop right there.
So I want you to bring yourselves forward. Why do I have to have Jesus or Gandhi to make you listen?
Yeah. That's how we roll, man.
He said that he really appreciated Hitler.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was a shocker.
Yeah, he really appreciated Hitler. He really appreciates when people can expand beyond a concept of just bringing in one teacher, one being.
Yeah, exactly. Or the whole Christ consciousness, I mean, the whole collective of Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, Jesus, and all that stuff. So,
Yeah. He did say that there was a particular personality that's has a I'm hearing like a British or English accent, like a really grumpy. He says grumpy, ornery old man.
oh, was it Quentin Crisp?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the gay dude that wrote the Naked Civil Servant, anyway, I can't remember.
Yeah, and he said that's something that mom would really relates to as well, for different reasons, and it's really powerful.
Well, yeah, he's so funny, and he was sitting on the couch when we asked Jesus to be brought in. It's like, this is wait. I was here first, man. But we got to him, I think. I think we interviewed Quentin. Okay, Erik, what should be my next step to be more successful or make a better income in music?
He sounds like he said that sounds like a problem in a belief system. So how much longer are you gonna let a belief system own you, man? So if you believe that you want to make income, why do people jump straight to money as being the ultimate goal to things? Not that you don't need it. I mean, obviously, let's get real, you do in your environment. But what do you feel about your music, and how can you get people to connect to how you feel when you make your music and when you share your music and when you create your music? Why should they listen? You've got to connect to them in a way that music makes them feel. So what should they feel? Why aren't you getting their attention with that? When you want to make money with something, you've got to connect to people in a real way, and you're really not marketing your music is like marketing your whole self. You're putting your whole personality on the line. So why aren't you showing people who you are and how you feel and why they should listen to you?
That's true. I can't remember the name of the book. Maybe Point Zero or but Marie Cassou or something. She's an artist, and she teaches that you don't want to sit there and focus on whether you're going to sell your painting or whatever. Just totally devote yourself to the process, and the money will come. So maybe that's what you're saying. Instead of seeing the end as money, allow some uncertainty to unfold, and sometimes you'll see flowers along that path, or you'll see other opportunities, and you'll see other avenues for success in various definitions of success.
He said, and what's the story behind your creativity? What's the story behind why people should listen to you? You've got to connect with them.
Yeah, how does he do that?
He said, why not share it? That's what I'm doing. I just share my story, and mom helps me share my story, and then people can relate to it. So what is relatable? Why? Humans want a relatable connection, man.
That is so true. And they want to feel connected and part of the collective. So maybe YouTube's, I mean, sharing on YouTube
Mhm.
and having some awesome tagline that draws people in. I don't know. What do you think about that?
He said that, and connecting to other artists.
Oh, okay.
Something that I wish that I had done is connecting to other people in a way, because if I was feeling that way, other people would feel that way too.
Yeah.
So find other people that get it. You may think you're weird. You may think you don't have anything to share, whether it be
I know
writing,
I'm weird.
whether it be writing, channeling, anything. You may think that you're unusual, but find other people who can relate to your content, and that is the connection.
That sounds good. Okay, let's see. Another anonymous person. Erik said that angels or archangels don't incarnate. However, I was told by a very good and much appreciated psychic to have an earth angel background, or who has maybe, meaning that that maybe he was or she, meaning that I was part of an angel soul group, Elohim, for a long time before deciding to incarnate. So it's a bit contradictory to me. Are you sure angels never incarnate? Erik, be sure. Review your notes. Review your notes.
He said, that's not exactly what I said, but I did say that archangels don't, because they don't have a reason to.
Ah.
They're not here to experience being human. That's just not what they're here to show you. But they are here to show you what it's like to not have a form and to connect with what you really are outside of that form. But what you're talking about, the earth angel experience, is an angel that has a form. How can you be an angel in a form on a planet? That's different from what an archangel has to do. Archangels don't need forms.
Well, so if an earth angel has a form, then technically they have incarnated, right?
Mm-hmm. They have to be. Otherwise, how would they experience that? They are angels that want to experience it, and often it's very traumatic.
Ooh, that's so fun. Why would they want to do that? Why did we want to torture ourselves with a human experience? I know the drill.
He said, oh, you know this answer. You do it because you can.
There we go. Anything else to, because I did remember there are a couple of, maybe it was the medium had filters, and I can't remember who it was, but it seemed like there was one that said that angels do not incarnate, but maybe
He said, oh, stories. Everybody's got a story and a filter through which they believe it, right?
Yeah.
So in that person's perspective, she had a belief and it was powerful.
Okay. Okie dokie. Let's see here. What spiritual, this is from Deborah, what spiritual lesson do I need to help to keep Merlin home? Oh, this is the familiar, the one that's being fattened up by somebody else who doesn't own him or her.
The kitty. Yeah, I think it's a kitty, he says.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay, again, animals, especially cats and dogs, are piggybacking off of your lessons. You need to ask yourself, are you trying to restrict yourself? Are you trying to keep yourself home? Are you trying to keep yourself from being fed somehow?
You mean home? Could home mean on earth? I mean, home means
in her house is what he's mentioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're being
She's
literal.
trying to keep her cat from straying around the neighborhood and eating other people's food and not coming back.
Oh.
And that's not what he's meant to do. That's not what you're meant to do. That's not what any of us are meant to do. So why are we trying to restrict and contain ourselves to one story, one place, one home, one meaning? Why? Only you know. So stop doing it. Be responsible about it, but let him be a cat.
So are you saying, Erik, are you telling Deborah that just, if you just let go and let her be a cat and roam around, him rather, then it'll come back and visit you and stuff like that?
I know what she's going to say. She's going to say, you're not being a responsible pet owner when you do that. And there might be certain laws and certain belief systems and certain things and certain ordinances that your town has to follow. Okay, I get that. But how are you restricting yourself? And a cat is a cat is a cat. So is your free spirit. Your spirit wants to roam. It wants to explore. It wants you to get out of your own boxes. So how are you keeping yourself in a box? I'm not telling you what to do with your cat, but obviously your cat's going to get out no matter what you do. So trying to be upset about it or worried about it or frustrated about it or to contain the cat is just a real life example of how you are containing yourself. So I'm trying to tell you to look at the animal's behavior and look at how you are trying to shelter and restrict and contain and limit yourself. He keeps going like, humans in their boxes.
We have lots of them. So has Merlin been neutered? Because maybe he's, they tend to roam around not a lot if they haven't been.
Yeah. He said that real world problem. And, he said he doesn't think that's the problem though.
Okay. Well, but they do live longer. Oh, somebody said salmon cat food. Just have a better food than everybody else. But yeah, if it's not fixed, I would, because they get cancer and, it's a feral cat population possibly and all that stuff. So
I don't know. He says that's not the problem with this cat.
Oh, all right. Okie dokie. Sounds good. All right, let me see. Hey, Eric. This is from CJ, I guess. I don't know.
That's right.
Okay. Hey, Eric, love you. How can we communicate with people who have a strong sense of right and wrong and get good or bad in their spiritual or religious beliefs? Oh, God, don't even try. And also the intent to use mind intelligence to create reasoning in their beliefs. I'm not sure what that means, but she says thank you.
Yeah.
I only had one cup of coffee. Maybe that's it.
um, he said, first of all, you've got to examine your attachment to this situation. So I could go on and on and on about how you're wasting your time, but I'm not going to do that today because you already know what I believe about that. And so does mom, and we've all struggled with it. But the more we try to change beliefs in society, the stronger it gets. So again, I'm going back to what is your intention? What is your agenda? Why do you need to change people so badly? You're trying to get them to go through a breakthrough, so please turn that around on yourself. What are you trying to do to open up your belief systems? Why? It's not to say that you want them to believe in your belief system, but do you express that, honor that, and is that what you're trying to do? Do you need them to believe what you believe? I don't think that's the case, but I have to throw it out there. Why do you need them to create reasoning in their beliefs? What is your attachment to that? Why do you need them to be something other than what they are? So this is about acceptance. It doesn't mean you believe what they believe, but can you accept that they have a right to feel and believe whatever it is that's in their world?
That's right. We all evolve at different rates and in different ways, and it's just like we're kind of on the bleeding edge with all this. It's like when people used to think the earth was flat, and then somebody, maybe Galileo, I can't remember, stood up and said, no, it's round. And then, he got, I think he even got thrown in prison for that belief. But anyway, so Arthur Schopenhauer, and I love this quote, says that truth goes through three phases. First, it's ridiculed, then it's scorned, and I've been through both of those, but eventually it's accepted as self-evident. And this whole thing with spirituality, I think we are just going through the same thing that we went through with the whole, hey, is the world on the back of a turtle, or is it flat, or is it round, etc.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my 2 cents. But what do I know?
He said, well, obviously a lot, because it's the same thing, whether we're trying to accept someone's personality or their religion, or when someone in a spiritual community is trying to say, don't think this way, your religion is too restrictive, then you're trying to make them like you.
Yes. Let it, let it unfold in their lap as it's meant to be. And, I don't think that unless it's solicited, okay, unsolicited proselytizing is just, it doesn't work. I mean, if they'll ask, hey, I'm really confused about my belief, can share yours with me, and what do you think? So that's it. The three phases. All right. Truth, this is Arthur Schopenhauer. Truth goes through 3 phases. First, it's ridiculed. Ha. Then it's scorned. You asshole, go to prison. But eventually it's accepted as self-evident.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do another question here. Eric, when I wake up in the morning, perhaps once a week, my digital alarm doesn't go off. I'll look up and the clock jumps then about 45 minutes and then goes off. Wow. It was stuck on an earlier time. That same morning, I go to my car a few minutes later and the digital clock is 2 hours into the future. After a few minutes, it goes back to the correct time now. What is going on? Oh my God, Maria's found the secret to time travel now. I don't know. What is going on there, Eric?
He said, you're operating outside of time anyway. Do you want to attach a meaning to something that doesn't exist? Isn't it like chasing a ghost? So what are you feeling in those moments? You have no attachment to whether it's past, present, or future. So how are you feeling in each of those moments? Connect the dots.
Okay, so Maria, what is it? Maybe you can share that with us in the chat. thread.
So there's some way that you're trying to get your own attention, he says.
Oh, wow.
Some way to this. How are you trying to get your own attention to what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what creative process you're undergoing? And it's happening no matter how you perceive time. So perhaps you should think outside of it. Don't worry about what the numbers and the clocks mean. They're not real anyway.
Okay, that's good. Wait, let me see. Okay. Maria, the same person asked, I'm a little annoyed. I want to do my source tone and then late. So I'm not sure what that means.
No. Oh, and then late. I'm not sure what that means either, but
So you late to whatever you're supposed to
I
go
think she's trying to say,
Oh,
yeah,
I wanted to get up early, but woke up late. And so you missed what? What were you late for?
she missed her spiritual practice.
Oh, okay. So what might that tell her, Erik?
He said, do you have a designated, time on a clock that you have to do something? Did God come down to you and say, now it's time to do your practice? And if you don't do it, now you're late. Maybe there's
you
no time.
role taking.
Yeah, maybe there's just a better time.
You're there and you weren't there to say, here, present.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more fluid with the spiritual practice because, you got to pick and choose the time where it feels like it's going to have the most power and that your intent will be better, etc. Could that be it?
He said, and what if it changes every day? What if it changes every day? What if it's not the same time every day? Could we allow that energy to be?
Yeah.
Why are we going to designate what's the right time to practice anything?
It's true. Okay, let's see. Anonymous. There's a lot of people with that first name. Wow. Here, how would you advise us on connecting with those who are depressed and don't want connection? Well, everybody wants connection. They just don't know how, probably. I mean, I'm just guessing. But Erik, tell us.
He said, first of all, honor what they're feeling. They don't want to connect to you. Okay? And the more you try to make someone do something that they're believing they don't want in that space, then you're not accepting, allowing, and honoring them. It's not your job to tell them what's healthy or not, what time to connect to them or not, when or if to connect ever. So start there. Start by accepting that they don't want to connect and be present for that. They are looking for connection, but you can't tell someone in that state of instability and insanity what is sane. You're talking to an insane person and trying to make them sane. Are you kidding me? Stop trying to force your way upon them. Just be there. You don't have to say the right thing. Say nothing. Just let them know you're there and just keep being there.
Well, what can you do then?
You can't do anything but show up. You can't do anything but show up. And that's it. When people tried to talk to me when I was in that state and they tried to talk, I didn't really want to hear their words. I just wanted to know that they care. I just wanted them to be there. I didn't care if we said anything. Matter of fact, the less the better in some of those times.
Yeah, that's true.
I did not always want to talk or to express emotion or to connect to it. I just wanted someone to be there and just listen to me and accept, even if I didn't say anything, or if I wanted to, it would come about the more they accepted that I didn't want to say anything. Sometimes just be there in my silence.
Yeah, that's right. Just sit there and wrap them with love and light and sit with them in the same room or whatever. All right, so Deborah just wants to end off her thing and say, I just want to, that's the one with Merlin the cat. Just wanted to say thank you, Elisa. Merlin is a beautiful long-haired cat, and he is fixed. I will get out more and buy better cat food, LOL. Oh, he will love that. All right, so here's another person that must be related to the other anonymouses because his or her name is anonymous too. What is the truth?
He said, there is no the in your environment. There is no one essence of truth in your environment because you are expressing in creativity. So for that matter, there's a guide. If it's love, if it's loving, then it is. And when it's not, then it isn't. So if I want to just hand you a big old manual of all the different ways that people can express love, would that make you feel better? Because that's all truth. What about hard love, tough love? If it's love, it's still truth. When you're being loving to yourself and having to express a boundary, if you're being loving to yourself, it's still truth.
But would you say that truth is love?
Yes.
Love is all there is.
Yes.
And love is light. Light is, everything is light. All right, well, we got that very important thing figured out. All right, so let's see. I got one here. Hi, Erik. Why does light language seem so important at the moment? I wrote a piece of light language on a friend's birthday card and told her to meditate on it. And the connection she made was amazing. She started speaking light language. Wow. And a being came and gave her a great message. It seems so prevalent at the moment. Ooh, that's a good question.
He said, so think about it in terms of music. When you listen to something, what does your brain do? Just goes away. You're not thinking about your problems for the day. You're not thinking about your own definitions of things. As a matter of fact, you're not thinking at all. And when you're not thinking at all, then you are in an open space for the universe to come through you. Light language is not actually meant to be figured out. Your head can't do that, but it gets you out of that. And it pulls you into a space that's beyond a human reference point. And that's what's good about it, is that you stop thinking for yourself and thinking that you want to place a meaning, want to place a significance, want to make order to things in your own way. Get you outside of yourself. And that's all that needs to be done.
It's true. So it's just channeled up into your crown chakra someplace and then out your mouth, right? And you don't have to analyze it. It's just your higher self, I suppose, integrates it. Or maybe it is your higher self sometimes giving you the light language. So I guess.
He said, going back to time and how we all can be simultaneously in one point, one now, light language does that. Pulls you to a point of singularity.
Okay.
And that's
why is it so prevalent now? Or is it just because it's been around and we just are noticing it more, stumbling upon it more, etc.?
It has always been around. How do you believe that you formulated languages in the first place? You had to have something, and then you started thinking it means this, and then you created another language and you said it means that, and then another one and it means that. So when you get yourself outside of all those constructs because it holds no meaning that you can identify with, then you're outside of time. You're outside of personality. You're outside of your own reference point.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess there's no more questions. We can just close up now. And Pamela, if you want to share your information.
Yeah. They know me. You can find me at PamelaAaralyn.com or on YouTube. And, Erik Medhus, you can find her at channelingerik.com. Tell us more about you. What are you doing these days?
Well, I'm studying because I'm studying the internal medicine again, brushing up on stuff so that I can start getting back into it a little bit, maybe part-time. So I've been busy with that and just doing the same things that I always do or have done for a long time.
I bet you, Erik, will come through and guide you there too.
Yeah, we can hope. All right, love y'all. Love you, Erik. Love you, Pamela. Thank you for this opportunity, and I will post this with all the information of how they can contact you, et cetera, et cetera.
Sounds good. You're welcome to post this. Once it goes to your download, you can post it on your channel if you want.
I will definitely do that.
Really good. It was really nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was so much fun. Oh, let's see. Okay, there we go. Love and light to all. Okay. Oh, somebody else has questions. Oh, that'll have to be part 2.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again some other time, guys. She's got to go.
All right. See y'all. I didn't see any more questions, so that's why I closed. All right.
He said he loves you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.